So hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. You can see behind me we'll be doing some NFT channel cleaning today. We unloaded these out of the greenhouse last night. We'll pressure wash them, disinfect them, and get them ready to go back into production. And so I had a subscriber ask about how we harvest our lettuce from the NFT channel. So I'm going to step through that today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. We appreciate all the new subscribers we've picked up. We're still trying to grow and build the channel. So don't forget to, again, share, like, subscribe, comment below. I can't remember the name of the subscriber who wanted the tutorial on the harvesting of the NFT lettuce, but I usually try to give a shout out, but I looked back through the comments this morning, I couldn't find it, so apologize for that. But let's take you through and show you what we're doing to harvest our lettuce. We've got a order of 3 cases going out this morning, so it's about 75 heads of hydroponic lettuce. So let's take a look. So the first thing we've done this morning before I head out to the greenhouse, these boxes I have in storage. We build the box. We've got these liners that go inside the box that will actually pack the heads in. So we got these right now in the back of the UTV. We're getting ready to head out to the greenhouse and get started. So we're out in the greenhouse with the boxes I already talked about. We've got the liners. We're prepped for that. We use some tape. Show you what that's for. Some scissors to cut. You could also use a knife. We have just a bin here. Now, we haven't built out the rest of these racks. So typically what you do is you'd pull the channel out and you lay it across to the next rack side. But we are not able to do that right now. So what we'll be doing is pulling the channels. We'll bring them down here into this area where I can lay them across the rack, and then we literally harvest. So the first thing we'll do is we come down here with our tape. Now, I've used some of the binder clips, but these tubes are a little bigger, and so what we do is we just pull them out, and you'll see they're flowing, and then we just double them over. It's hard to do with one hand, and that stops the flow. I'll wrap a couple of wraps of tape around it, and that basically in effect shuts it off. You can see we've done that with some of the others, but and then it'll let this tray drain out. This is a partial tray. I'd already harvested some for market, and we'll figure out how many heads we want, how many channels, and we'll go ahead and pinch off these feeder lines and go ahead and let some of the water drain out, so that way before we pull it out, we don't have a bunch of water that spills out into underneath the rack. So let me get this taped off real quick, and then I'll come back and show you how we pull these channels out. So now you'll see these channels. We've got the feeder tubes taped off on these 3, and then I've actually got 4 on this side. This is Muir, and this is Magenta Summer Crisp. And so we're going to end up with a couple of cases of Magenta and about a case of the Muir. So we're letting that drain off. You may also notice I've got these little cardboard cutouts. Anything that gets exposed to sunlight, if there's not a plug in it, you know, and that nutrient water flows, it'll start to form some algae. And so you can actually see underneath there was a little bit. So you want to keep that out of the system as much as possible. Most of the trays covers are, you know, made depending on, you know, what kind of plug. This greenhouse used to use the round peat plugs with a round net cup that would sit in here. You can also buy the covers that have the square for the whatever substrate you're using. And so these are the square plugs. And so I'm actually going to look at cutting these out square so that they'll sit over and they'll help block some of the opening around here. So as you can see, if you lift this plug up, you can see that anywhere is not covered, you start to get some of that algae development, and it's not your friend in the long term. So just a tip. All right, I'm gonna look to how best position this camera so that I can actually capture the process of pulling a tray out, and then we'll move it down so that we can bridge across the aisle and do the harvesting part. Okay, hopefully this will stay stable enough. So I'll show you pulling this out. Now what you won't see is I'll be actually transporting it down here and setting it across the aisle. But as soon as I get the camera rearranged, you'll see the result. So it's pretty simple. I'll go ahead and pull these off just to get them out of the way. Like I said, we'd already harvested some of that for the market. And so I will lift it up just to kind of let any water kind of evacuate down towards the end. Right? And then we just kind of pull it out, let it slide up and over. Now the only downside of these square tube racks is they'll catch that very end. And so you just kind of have to lift it up. So you can see there, and then we'll just carry it down here and lay it across. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a couple more of these while I'm at it. See, there's a little water dripping out of that. Like I said, normally I wouldn't have to carry them. I would just lay them across right here, and we do that harvesting right here with it across the racks. But I don't have that set of racks built out yet. And so this is an extra step and normally you wouldn't have to do. And I'm just getting these down here so that I can just do them all at once. All right, let me reposition this so that now you can see the harvesting as we go through that. Okay. So now if you were only going to do a partial tray, you would want to actually, if you're going to have to reinsert this back in the system, you'd want to start at that end. That way it makes the end lighter, so you have to reinsert it over into the drain hole. It just makes it much easier. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can either just go ahead and cut it and then pull the plug out, or you can pull the plug out and cut it. We dispose of that, and then I didn't have my liner ready, so I should have had that ready to start. So I've also disinfected those scissors as well as my hands. A lot of people will use gloves when harvesting. We just disinfect our hands and we start our harvest. So we'll do 24 of these lettuce heads for this case. We get a little bit of lettuce leaves there that you know, are marginal. We'll pull those off. That was a plug that didn't germinate. See, the roots are really well developed. nice and clean. And then we just keep sliding this across the walkway. I'm not going to pull those plugs out yet. I want to just keep cutting, and then I'll come back and I'll pull all the plugs out. That way I just have less contamination risk. So let's take you over here and show you. So it's kind of hard for me to see that way. So there we go. There's 10 in there. There'll be 24 in this case. And so that's how we harvest it. When we get these channels, we get the plugs out, and then we'll take them and disinfect them like the others I showed you. So I'm gonna get to finishing up this harvest. Hopefully that helps you see how we get our lettuce harvested here in the greenhouse. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, share, like the channel, comment below if there's something else you want to see or questions you have as we try to grow the channel. Thanks for watching.